Welcome you all to puzzle number 17. Okay. It's compact, so no obvious this must be recoil cells. Yes, that's true. Okay. Let's say this. This puzzle has 133 cells. Okay? Please remember that this one has 133 cells because we will use this information. And we will use this information a lot. So please follow me because we need to make 66 path moves. What I mean with that, for who is not like a little bit expert with recoils, consider this, that every time you make a move, you are using one cell, that is this one, and another cell, that is the one recoiled. Now, because you have the one at the start, this means that if you have 133 cells, you can remove the starting point, so you have 132 cells. That means 66 recoil cells, so gray cells, and this means 66 moves, specifically 66 moves around the puzzle, okay? The fact that you have 66 moves around the puzzle means that you must end at the 66th move, clearly. But if you follow me for a second, there is some checkerboard logic in this, because if you go to the right, for example, once, you go here, and this is move 1. When you go to move 2, so like every time you go to even amount of moves, those are 4 moves, you are in the same checkerboard movement of the starting point. When you want to reach 66 moves, you are in the same checkerboard of the starting. So just remember this information for a second, okay? Now, next information that is very important. So first of all, we are in the same checkerboard stuff, okay? Remember that we are in the same checkerboarding situation, okay? So we are in this. Now, next step, that is a very important step. Just remember that this move here could be the end of the puzzle, okay? It could be the end of the puzzle, but if it's not the end of the puzzle, it must be a recoil from a horizontal standpoint, okay? So this means that you must reach somehow this row, the first row up here. Now, the fact that you must reach that that row, that is, I'm calling that row 1, okay? Even if I know that it's row 2 because you have these, but let's not remember that this one exists and talk about just row 1 in terms of this. I will say a lot of times row 1, so this is row 1 for us, okay? So the point is this. I must go through this side and reach this cell, or through the other side and reach something. So in theory, the ending could be somewhere here. The problem is that I could, in theory, exit row 1. But now, follow me. Where can I go when I exit row 1? I clearly can do that. So I can't continue down after that. Now, I could go to the right once or twice, but I can't continue straight down. I don't have nothing to recoil. So all of these are possible things in which, I mean, if I want to just remember where the puzzle can go, I mean, I could do that, okay? I could go straight, and if I go straight, I can't continue down, of course. But I can continue to the left again. When I go to the left, I could end here, or even here, of course, still in row 1, or, okay, I could go here, for example, and then I go down once. That's pretty much okay. Or I could go down, and then I can't continue here because I have this. Now, what can I do? That's a big question, because now that I'm here, I could, in theory, go here and then I go twice down, taking those 2 cells, and then even reach this cell or this other cell. I think that all of this is really clear, right? And when I do that, I can't continue this way, and I can go down once to recoil this one, but I can't continue, and I can't continue. Now, the only problem at all the things that I was trying to share here is that clearly I can go up and recoil down, but I can't continue, so even this works this way. Like the whole problem of all of this situation is that in theory I could go to the right, but I have a problem. The problem is that if I go to the right, I'm recoiling this cell here. And now that I recoil this cell, I'm in this situation, I can't continue down. So I can't go to the right again. Okay? Because I have nothing and I can't go down. So in other words, what I'm saying... Oh, come on. Must remove a bit of stuff. What I know is that there exists this wall. And this wall that clearly continues here is exactly... Okay, the implications are clear to see, yes, but I'm still not sure why we're thinking about this at the moment. Yeah, you will see in a second. The point is, oh, remember that we said that the ending is in the same checkerboard situation of the other one, okay? But all of this means that the ending of the puzzle can't be like outside this thing. You can't end the puzzle somewhere here, anywhere else. Because you can't reach that part of the puzzle after reaching row 1. In other words, when you reach row 1, the most you can do is stuff like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, or anything else in between. But you can't go down this side of the puzzle. You can't reach that. So just remember that. If this deduction is actually mandatory to get anything meaningful in the puzzle, absolutely diabolical, and it's something. Okay, let's say that I think that everyone, I think J40 can tell, but I think that everyone, whoever tried this puzzle, Piatato, me, Mormagli, J40, at least as far as I know, made this step. Maybe not exactly like the first one, but... Oh, okay, that's beautiful. This was as far as I got. That's lovely. Okay. Yeah. Now, follow me. Because now we are still at page number 3 of my screenshots. Like my 3rd screenshot. I have some screens of this puzzle. Yeah. A lot of them. So... let's say this now. This means that the possible ends for the puzzle are those. Those are all the possible ends for the puzzle. Okay? Now, what I'm trying to do is removing some of the possible ends. Okay? Because we can easily remove some of the possible ends for this. To do that, we must make some considerations, but we can do it pretty clearly. Let me try to explain. First of all, this cell here is not the end of the puzzle. Why I'm saying that? Because if this one is the end of the puzzle, now the question is, how can I reach this cell? How can I recoil for this cell? Because the only way to recoil for this cell would be to make these 2 moves. Okay, I think you can see that. I think we don't need that anymore. But it was just to like remove a lot of candidates downside, okay? But if this is true, because you must recoil this cell, now this move is allowed, is forced. Okay, you must make this. And how this works? Like literally how this works, because now I must go down. I must go down again. I must go down again. And now I have 3 moves going down. And now 1 and nothing to recoil. So there is no way to have this situation like before to recoil this cell before this. In other words, this one is not the end of the puzzle. And it's just forced to be not the end of the puzzle anyway. Now we have a problem, because if this one is the end of the puzzle, clearly this one will never be reached, because you can't recoil it horizontally this way, because you have no way to go down, so this clearly doesn't work. So this one is not the end of the puzzle as well. And this one is not the end of the puzzle, because what do we do with this? It's clearly not working. And let me see if I can say... Wait a second. Something meaningful before continuing. Because if I remember correctly... Yeah. Now, this one is not the end of the puzzle, because for this to be the end of the puzzle, you must recoil the stuff outside, so the only thing that you can do is this. But if you do that, this one will never be recoiled, of course. So this one is never the end of the puzzle as well. And we are here, I guess. 1, 2, yeah, okay. Now, can this one be the end of the puzzle somehow? Remember that for this to be the end of the puzzle, you must go this way, and you must make all of those moves and then go down. So, now my question is, how can I recoil those 2 cells? I just can't. That's, again, still a problem. And for the same reason, if this one was the end of the puzzle, this one upwards would not be recoiled ever in the puzzle. So, in other words, this one and this one are not the end of the puzzle. So we are left with 2, 4, 6, and 8 possible ends for this puzzle. Those 8 things are all the 8 possible ends, and all of them work because in theory you could do that or this. And to make all of them, you must make this move, or this move, or this move. So we know that every one of those endings would require a lot of specific moves to happen, like this one or this one, for example. So we make a lot of specific moves that are forced. Now, for uniqueness, we can say that this thing is not allowed, because if this was true, recoiling this, then this one would be unique as well, would be a solution as well. But we are not using uniqueness, okay, of course. But this is what can I say, that this is not the end of the puzzle, but I can't use that. So we must use other stuff, okay? And yeah. The stuff that now I'm trying to tell you took me a bit to see, and it's one of the wildest steps I've ever seen in the starting of a recoil, honestly. But okay, wait. What I most certainly would if I wasn't serving as a judge. Yeah, I think the problem is that we can't tell that the puzzle is unique at the moment. So this is a point that must be taken into consideration, right? But yeah, I see your point, of course. Anyway, okay. The first thing that I know is that some of the cells that we have are clearly, and I mean clearly, recoils. Because we know that the endings are there, clearly this one, this one, this one, and this one are not the ending. And this one and this one as well. And this one and this one as well. And this one and this one as well, it can do that. And this one as well. And now, like, I can't do that. We already said that. But I can't make this move. If I try to make this move here, I go here, and then, or here, of course, but in both cases, this one will never be recoiled. So this one is not ever reached by the path. Now, for similar reasons, I can tell that this cell is never moved, because if you do that, clearly you're doing that this way, and now you're doing that this way, and now you can continue, of course. So this one is not, so this one is not. For the same reasons, this one is not allowed, so this one and this one are never recoils. So all of these are just me doing normal recoil stuff, okay? So this is not requiring a lot of time or ideas, but the thing that requires a bit of understanding is what's going on here in the downside of this. Why I'm talking about that? Now we must be careful. Why? Let me think about this cell, first of all. If I do that, now remember that we know that the endings are there, so we don't have to be worried about the fact that something could be an end, okay? Because we know that the ends are there, and okay, there are 8 places for the end, but that's not a problem. There are 8 places, that's fine. But still, we know that, for example, we are not ending here, for example, so it's not a problem. So if this one was not a path cell, sorry, I would make this move, and then I'm stuck. So clearly, this thing is never a path cell. For similar reasons, this one is always broken, because I mean, I made 3 moves and then I'm stuck again. So I have this situation. For similar reasons, I can do similar things here. Like, I can't make this move because I'm stuck, and I can't make this move because 1, 2, and 3, and then I'm stuck again. So you can see that there is this pattern with 2 and 4 and 2 and 4 here, okay? Now, this pattern is not obvious. I'm explaining why in a minute or two, but this one is a lot more restricted than the other one. Why? For a reason. The reason is this. Like, clearly this cell is an horizontal move somehow, okay? And I must exit this thing somehow again. The only way I have to do that is to make this move. So I must make those 2 moves, because I must exit this. Why I'm saying that? Because there is no way I can go upwards here, because if I try to do that, I can't just recoil to the other side, okay? So, I mean, that's forced, okay? So this move is just that. And this move is just clicking this thing. Now I have a problem, though. And the problem is there a way to not use all of these? So, in other words, to not make these? I'm trying to tell, can I ever do that, for example? Or anything in between? Because if I do that, I have other recoils, 1 or 2 or more, okay? So imagine that I'm using those 4 as like forced, but I could have those 2 in theory, okay? Now the question is, how can I recoil all of those other things, okay? To recoil all of those other things, for example, I don't know, like imagine that I want to recoil this one vertically. Now this move couldn't be this one, couldn't be this one. So I must make it here or upwards somewhere, okay? This is a problem. This is always a problem, because to make this, I must come from this side somehow. I mean, it's not a big deal in terms of that. But the problem is that every time I try to do so, at a certain point, I still must find a way to recoil all of these. Okay, so like, okay, I'm sorry. All of these. So it means that I must go to the right at some point, so I must end here. So it's like forced that I must end there to recoil all of those. And At the same time, I must recoil those two. So I need somehow I need the vertical moves going downwards, and then I must find a way to return and go to the right. And this is just connectivity. There is no way this thing works. If you want me to prove that, in a, I don't know, in a formal way, like the best thing I can do is to recoil this one downwards. So at a certain point I must do that, and then I go down, I take something that is here, then I return, and then I touch this, and then I go up, and then I go up again, and then here, and then not only I have problems with this, but I also just cross the puzzle. I mean, I don't see a way to make those moves going upwards here at the opposite of this, considering that here I'm in the different direction, and here I must end there, and I must end there because I need to somehow recoil those things at this point, and so there is no way to make that, and I think that I hope that it's pretty clear that you can't make a vertical move here to recoil this cell. So at least those two moves exist. So you have this. Now the big deal is, could I do that? Follow me for a second. To make this means that I'm somehow recoiling stuff that is like, yeah, I don't know. Imagine that I'm doing that, for example. I'm doing this, for example. I don't know. That's just an idea, okay? To try and do that as much as I can. Okay, don't mind about all the other stuff. Just focus into this situation of what happens downwards, okay? This thing, in theory. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, okay. This thing, in theory, could work, okay? But the problem is that now I have a lot of things that I must recoil horizontally, and if I try to not do that, like imagine that I try to do, I don't know, do that, I'm clearly not, like if I do that, like I have all of those, how can I ever do those things? I don't have enough space to make all of those upwards moves, okay? And if I try to go here, I just close, and if I try to use that as soon as I can, I mean, yeah, that's fine, but I'm still not working that way. All of this means just that I can't just connect it here. I need at least one more. So that's pretty much my point. But the problem is that even this doesn't work, because if I try to make this, like the best I can do, as I was trying to say earlier, is to do something like this, okay? But okay, it doesn't matter what we are doing here, okay? I don't know. We're yeah, we're doing that, okay? But oh, that's even easier. Sorry. I was thinking about the vertical moves here, but even this works because this one can't work because I have nothing to recoil. Yeah, that's even better. Okay, that's easier to see at least. In other words, I don't see other options because if I try to avoid that and I do that, just that, I don't recoil enough. And if I try to do that after, I still don't recoil enough, and or I'm just not recoiling the correct things. Okay, so in other words, okay, yeah, I can't even do that, so I must do that here, and then I don't know, I must do this, for example. Then I do that, I can't continue. There is just no way to do all of this stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter what happens upside. I'm just talking about what happens here. That this move just doesn't work because you are going this way, and so this one is not allowed. So all of this, what does this mean? This means that this move is not allowed as well. And so I need all of these moves, and those are 4 moves, and those are exactly 4. So I must make this forced. But when I do that, and I have this situation, now the question is, the big question, I mean, is what happens? Like, uh, how can I try to tell? Okay, those two moves have the same problems that I was already trying to state. Okay, and okay, let me try to tell it this way. Is there a way to make those two moves not here but in other directions, in other places? And the question is maybe. Like the answer is maybe, but the point is this. Like imagine that you have one of them going here. Okay, I'm using that just for reference, so you can see the black cells around. Now, if I don't want to connect this way, and so I try to go here, I just close, and so I can't do that. Okay, so if I don't want to make all of those, I can't make both. I mean, any of those can't work. Okay, but this means that I must reach those after. And now my question is, can I do that? Because if I do that, I don't have enough space. And not only that, but I don't have enough space, and yeah, that's just not enough space at all, because I can't make those two moves because I can't return unless the end is here, but I can't have the end here. And at the same time, I can't just make those two and pretend that are those two because I have all of those. And I would need to recoil all of those cells before, and in theory, I could, if I do that, recoil one of them, but not the other one. Not the other one, just not the other one. And there is no way, unless, okay, I mean, I see that you can maybe say, okay, but I can do these, for example, and then do, I don't know, and then do that, okay, and I see, but still I don't have enough space. I mean, I would be forced to do, I don't know, to do stuff like these to just start in recoiling, and then the point is that I'm too distant from these cells to be vertical recoils, considering that I must go to the right and then turn to even allow those things to not be recoiled after those moves, and still I can't end. So I have too many things, too many restrictions inside all of these to allow a move that goes in the wrong direction here. In other words, I need those two moves. And when I make one of those, I must make the other one. Because even if I try to make these, still I have problems with two things now, not only one. So I must make those two moves. And when I make those two moves, those are done. And so I have all of these situations that are just forced. Now, though, I must make another position, okay? And that point now is about what happens to the right, because I have a similar situation to the right. And that similar situation to the right is, okay, I said similar. It's not exactly the same, because at this point we have some more different ideas that could work. I will try to explain that in a second. Like just imagine that you are not using this, so this one is still a recoil. So this means that you are making some moves here, and remember that at least two of them, maybe three of them, are because now this one can't go this way. So I mean, this one is just forced to go up or to the right. At least three of them are vertical moves, okay? Vertical moves that go up. Now, all of those vertical moves going to the right, going up, mean some stuff that are that is very, very important, at least. Okay, so like the first thing that I want to state here is that even if I try to, like, yeah, probably I can just show, and I mean I can connect here. I can clearly connect here. Okay, now from this standpoint, if I don't want to use it because I have this wall here, and I want to go this way now because I must reach the column, okay? I want to do that. This means somehow that I must make some moves here. And those moves, even if I do that, I can try to do this, of course, and now I can't continue. Also, I can't even continue up, so I can't do that at this point. So I must do this, for example, and then I must continue up, must continue up, must continue up again. I must go here, and then I need to do some stuff up here that allows me to recoil everything, okay? But all of those moves that are forced to recoil, I mean, even if I try to do, I don't know, to do this, that doesn't really matter what happens down. I mean, I can't continue here, and I must continue recoil, because even if I try to not recoil one of them here, but I want to recoil them in other directions. So I mean, I want to do that, for example, okay? I want to do this. That's okay. I was not here. I was here. I still can't reach, so I must make two of them to be recoiled this way, and this is a lot. Again, I have the same problem that I can't recoil two things that are too far apart in this kind of situation. So, like, I could do this, for example, and then I return, but I don't have enough space. I mean, this one is clearly something that I could adjust, but I still don't have enough space. I have a lot of problems here to continue recoiling. I mean, I could do that, but then it means that I must reach here to continue recoiling. So all of these just doesn't work, and you can say that maybe you are connecting these before connecting the other one, yeah, but then this one is just stuck, so you can't do that just for connectivity again. So like there are a lot of connectivity situations here in which you can't go here and then return to the right, and you can just spend a lot of time trying to see all of the different situations that can arise. But as you can see, there is literally no way to make all of those moves work unless you do something like this. And like I will show you for a second something like this. I mean, I'm continuing in a forced way because here I must take all of them. Here I must take one, and then I must take the other one somehow, and I can't go down because I have problems with the row. So I must go here because, I mean, I can't continue, so I must go here. So now I must go down. Can't continue here because I have nothing to recoil, so I must continue this way. I can't continue. And now that I'm here, in theory, I could even do that, all of these, or I could try to do that now, but it doesn't work, of course, because I have nothing to recoil, because I spent one of the moves here to go down, and then I can't go this way. I can go this way maybe, and then I go here, and then I can try to continue, but then this move will never be recoiled, and still I'm not using every one of the cells. And even if it's true that I could, in theory, do stuff with these, like adding more cells, I don't care about these. The point is just that at a certain point, this is probably the clearest way to show you that. At a certain point, if I try to go here and do that, just that, when I go here, I can't go straight here because I would reach this, so I can't go down, so I must go here. And then here I must go down, and now here I can't go here. I can't go here and here because I would be trapped any way I try. So I must go here, and then when I go here, I can't continue. Can't go up because this is still a problem. I could go straight, but if I go straight, 1, 2, 3, and this is not enough. I will just show you 1, and now I'm stuck, so I can't continue. And if I try to make something different, like go down and then here, this one works, but then I don't have enough space to reach this. And so all of this just means that when I go here, I can't go all the way up here. But the only way to not go all the way up here and stay here, for example, is to allow some of these to be recoiled horizontally, but I can't make all of these horizontal, or at least one of them being horizontal, because all of those moves being horizontal create the same problem that I had here, and the same problem arises for those two cells as well, because I mean, I would be forced to do, I don't know, like, for example, I must do that, for example, and then I can't go up, so I can continue, I must continue, and then here, and then how the hell am I recoiling something else horizontally? I just can't do that to avoid this unless I reach this, and then I have the same problem again and again and again and again. So all of this doesn't work. And all of this means that I can't make another recoil here, another recoil cell here, so this one must be that, and this one must be this, and so I must go at least 3 times up. Now the fact that I must go 3 times up means that I have like literally the same problem again, because now those two must be recoiled, and the only way to recoil those must be to do them exactly now. Again, same problem that I already had. I can show you again if I try to just not do that and not recoil here. I mean, I can't go up here, so I must go up this way. And now, yeah, I could do that, of course, but when I do this, I don't have enough space to recoil all of those things, or I could go here, and then how the hell am I recoiling all of these? I don't have enough space. The problem is this, in this puzzle, like it's so compact that you don't have enough space to do the things that you want, because we already have the west side of this, and so this one is really constraining this thing. So it's here I had this, but this one broke for other reasons and allowed this, and now the right side is forced because of the left side, or I mean of the bottom side, and so you have all of this. Now that you have all of these, the question is, if I try to, okay, let me just share with you again the lines, okay? If I try to not continue here, and so I try to go to the left here, now this means that at a certain point I must make a move upwards that recoils the last one, but that move at this point must be this one, and then I don't have the space for this unless I do that, and then I return, and then I do that, but then I don't have enough space up. So all of this just doesn't work again and again and again, and all of this means that I must make another move upwards, and I can't stop here, so I must make this move, recoiling this one, and now all of these are recoils, and all of these are recoils as well. And we are here. And now J40 will say with a message like, what the hell, or something similar, I think. But yeah. Still, this is just the start of the puzzle. This is literally not the hard part of the puzzle. Oh, remember that I can't go through here. Okay, and now at this point I spent like 30 minutes trying to understand what was the next step. Because I had literally nothing here for a lot of time. And this was, I think, the moment in which I spent a bit of time talking with Mormagli and J40 about this one. Because I was here completely stuck and asking, what the hell am I expected to do here? And like I remember that I was like wondering if there was a way to prove that one of the other options break. Because, for example, if you reach the row 1 and don't want to do this thing that we already showed, I mean, you must do something like this. Okay, and I think you can see that all of these pretty much works, okay? And I even found a situation in which this thing just doesn't work. I mean, it's not exactly that one, but you will forgive me for not remembering exactly the situation. But I had a specific situation. I don't remember which one, but I had a specific situation in which I proved the uniqueness, because this one and this one would have been two different positions, two different solves of this, and now this clearly was not allowed. But this was not the case. This was not how to continue this puzzle, and I just wanted to show you for a second. What's the big deal here? The big deal is this. Imagine, just imagine, that now that we know that we have those two things going this way, imagine that you want to stop here. This is the first thing that you must understand with this puzzle at this point. And the point is this. If I try to make this is a problem. Why this is a problem? Because I can't ever do that. Because I would not recoil those two cells. So I must continue this way. And at a certain point, I need some horizontal moves that recoil those cells. But every time I make one move to this side, I make another move that is not recoiled. Unless, I mean, I can do that, but I can't do that because I have nothing to recoil. So this one is not allowed. So this one now at this point is not that. So like the best thing I can do is just stuff like 1, 2, and 3, and then I go to the other way around. But now I have a problem, that is this one. In other words, if I want to recoil something here, so I want to end at the right end, all of those cells must be recoiled by moves that go to the left, and all of those moves must be made before. But now I have a problem that I am in the wrong situation. It's not like 3 and 1, it's 1 and 3. So every time I try, just follow me for a second. I mean, I can do that. But then for the others, I would take too much. To make all of those and like to allow all of these to work, I must start exactly here to take all of these, because this all creates a lot of problems in the middle of row 3 that force me to do this. This is even fine in terms of, okay, it doesn't really matter here, but it doesn't really matter. But you follow me just for other reasons. I mean, this one works, but this thing to make those three working, force this cell to be somehow recoiled by the left. And I'm not talking about what happens here, how to reach this one. I'm just talking about this part. And even if I try to do that now, I don't have enough space, because I can do that, and then, as you can see, I have not enough. So it's again the same problem of 2-1. So this one is never a recoil. That's the point. This one is never the end, sorry. So it's always a recoil. So this one is always a recoil as well. That's the point of what I'm trying to say. But it's not just that. It's even worse than that. Because the only way to make this one work is to do that. And I can't do that. I just can't do that, because to do that, I'm not recoiling those two cells again. But I have the same problem every time I try to make all the others. So for example, this one that was the solution for like to recoil those three and finish here, mean that I must recoil those. And I mean, I can do that. No, I can't. If this move is not allowed, I don't have enough space. So this move is not the end as well. Now you can ask, well, okay, but I mean, I can recoil this one, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and those are 4. So I can recoil here. And that's true. I absolutely can. But now I want to recoil, and the best I can do is this and this. But now, how can I recoil those two? I can't. And this one as well. So all of those moves can't be recoiled by those moves. In other words, this one is also not the end of the puzzle. But all of this means that I must go through here to end the puzzle, and so I must make those moves that I said already before. So I make all of those moves, and I make this move, and this one is not the end. So I must reach this. And now that we are here, I know that all of those moves must be recoils from this side. And I can easily tell that, because if I don't want all of these to be recoils of this side, so I want, like, I don't know, like imagine that I want to do something very suspicious, like for example, I do that and then I go up, okay? As you can see, we have a problem, because we must make a good amount of moves here for those, and a good amount of these for these. and all of those things are combined together. Now, it's true that some of those cells could be recoiled by moves that go here, at least those two moves that go to this side, but all the others can't. In other words, I must be sure that even if I try to just end, for example, here, I mean, if I try to count here, that's probably even easier to say. I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 moves here, okay? If I take another one, it's 5, and that's exactly 5. So the question is, am I entering here, or am I entering here? So it's one of those two, okay? Now, if I take this one, that's one of the points, okay? I can't make this one as the last one here. So this means that this one must be the last one, and I must return here. So there is one cell here that is just going downwards, okay? But that cell, how do I take that cell? Okay, I could do this, for example. I could do this, but then I go here, and then I go here, for example, okay? This just working, okay? Because I can do that, for example. And still, when I do that, I'm clearly trying, okay, how can I tell? Okay, let's do it. Let's do this, for example, okay? I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 now, so it's so hard to explain, but if you are in the situation of 5-5 and you remove 1, you are not in the situation of 4-4. You are in the situation of 1 in the middle and then still 4 and 6, so 4 and 5, because the one you are leaving is not counting by 2, because it's not an horizontal move. So every time you do that, you remove 1. So you must remove 2 things to allow that to work. And to move that twice, I must do something like this, for example, okay, to continue and force all the things to work. But clearly, all of this is a bit too much again and again and again and again, because the puzzle is too, it's too small. It's like the opposite of Puzzle 46, because in Puzzle 46, you could do small movements, but those small movements were not enough to change stuff in the big grid, in the big scheme of things. Here, it's the opposite. So, you can't make slow differences, because those slow differences are just changing a lot of stuff around. So, what am I trying to say with all of these is that you are forced to take 5, because you are in the situation 5-5. And if you remove 1, you have 4-5, but it's 4-6, 1 is removed, and still you are 4-5, not 4-4. So you are never in the 4-4 situation. But all of this means that I have exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 moves, and this one goes this way. Hey Isaiah. Hi there, Isaiah. How is it going? And now this move is clearly not allowed, so this move is clearly not a move of the puzzle as well, and now we can continue, and we can stop here as well. Now we have a problem though, because now this move must be a recoil. And this move must be recoiled by something that is vertical. Now, this means that I must reach this part of the puzzle, and now there is no way I can reach this now, at this point, to do that. And the reason why I'm saying that this thing is not working is wild. But the problem is that to prove that, we must enter a complete new part of the puzzle of the solve. And I'm trying to do that in a second. First of all, it doesn't really matter if I'm taking that after or at the start. What I mean is that this cell must be part of something that goes this way. It's forced to do that. It's forced that I do those two things. It doesn't matter if I do that now or if I do that at the end. I must do that because I have no way to recoil those things horizontally. So it's like the same, and it's always the same. So this one is as well like that, okay? And all of these is forced. Again, it's just forced. I can't do more than that or better than that. But now I have a problem. And the problem is the following. Now that I am here, I want to ask. Yeah, please remember that now we are getting a bit confused, but please remember that this one, this one, this one, and this one are yeah, probably I will just remove the things that are just recoils and just leave the possible ends at this point, okay? Okay, how can I tell? How can I try to explain this? It's very worrying that I didn't see any comment by J40 and Neve about what I did. Anyway, like very worrying. Okay. Okay, I think I'm in the right place here. If I'm correct, right? Yes. Okay, I'm correct. So, okay, it seems it is time. Okay. Remember when we said that we have 66 moves to make into this puzzle? Yeah. Just imagine that somehow we are doing that before, so it's the start. For obvious reasons, we must make all of those moves, so those are just forced. I don't know about the start, but I mean, it doesn't matter the start itself. I'm talking about all the other parts, so I'm doing that. Now at this point, I'm trying to take as much cells as I can. I can go to the right. Can't continue, so I could go here, but this one just goes trapped, so this one is forced. Now here, the most I can do, like literally the most I can do is probably, I don't know, go up and then right and then down, for example. Yeah, like it's the most I can do here, and I can do that. From this side now, I still have something to do here, and yeah, I don't know. I make those two moves, for example, and then I make this move as well. Yeah, and I think this thing works. Now, let's try to see if I can find a way to maximize this somehow. Just somehow maximize all of this. Because it's hard. It's very hard to maximize this. But the maximum thing, you can make some moves and try to understand. The maximum thing that I can do is stuff like this. Is stuff like these, and then somehow reach this. But if I try to do that, as you can see, I create a wall because of the moves that I have here. And if I don't want to have those moves and I want to go up and I want to do these, I'm just creating problems with the end, so I can't do that. So all of those moves, those two and those two, are forced. If I try to not use one of those, I'm creating a wall before, or if I don't want that wall before and I try to make other moves, every one of those situations will create very big changes around the grid. They can't make that because this one is very forced to be like this. And if I don't want to do that to avoid all of those situations again, I mean, I could in theory, I mean, I can't do that because I must try to connect as soon as I can. But I can in theory do this, and then do this, and I can't do this because I reach up, and I can't try to go straight because I reach the other one, and so all of this is just forced. I mean, I don't have enough space to do more than that. This one is the most efficient way that I make use around the X to make to like use the biggest amount of cells, and at the same time to try to not use cells that I can't use. All of this just doesn't work. It creates a wall. I can't continue this way. That's pretty much the problem, and still it's not enough anyway. This means that this situation in which I go straight here from the start is not working, but this means that I must make the other one situation. And the other situation is the one in which I'm going through here, and then I'm going through here again, and this one is the end of the puzzle. So this one is somehow around the end of the puzzle, so this one is not the end of the puzzle, and I must end here or here. And so we can remove all of the stuff that is not needed anymore, and know that we are just ending here or here. We don't know which one, or I mean, we know because if this one was the end, we were in a uniqueness problem, so it must end here, but we are not using that at the moment. And all of this means, all of this means that we are in this situation, we are in this part of the puzzle, and now that we are in this part of the puzzle, we can count. Yes, you heard me right. We can count. Why I said we can count? I said we can count because in this situation, we are at exactly 31 moves done. Now, it means that we must make other 35 moves, okay? And now the question is, can I maximize the moves without crossing this part of the puzzle this way, in this way of the things? So we are not going through here. And my question is there a way to maximize all of these? It's a good question, okay? It's a very good question. And the answer is, we can't. Why I'm saying we can't? Because the maximum I can try to do is stuff like this. Remember that when we reach these, we are forced. Now we can create those 3 moves here. And now I think we can go up twice, to the left twice. I mean, you can make those type of stuff. This is pretty much okay. And still, you have 24 moves that we added here with those wiggling to avoid the stuff. Okay, we have this one as well. And still, in this situation, you still need 11 moves. 11. And 11 moves, there is no way you can add 11 moves considering all the forced parts that we have. You can't make moves here because you go here and then you go up again, and you can't go up again, you don't have enough space. And if you want to have enough space here to make one move up here, you still can't make other moves up. So, I mean, okay, you can do that, but then all of those will not be done, and still you have 11 or 12 moves still to do. And you can't wiggle around to the left because it's very restricted around the grid. So everything you can do here is like forced to be connected to this specific rectangle here going to the right. Like, you must make those moves. It's forced that you make those moves. It's very forced that you make those moves. And now, the fact that you must make those moves is very important. Why I'm saying that? I'm saying that because now we must go to the right. The fact that now we must go to the right is very relevant for some reasons. First reason. First simple reason. Is this move allowed? Clearly, you can't go down. So, is this move allowed? This move forces this. And this move forces this as well. I mean, this one, I think, is pretty forced to be like that, okay? But now, if you try to make this, to force this move, remember that this move now is forcing this one, is crossing this. And now this is important. I will tell you why in a second. Now this means that I must make two moves here, and this is clearly not working because you are doing too much stuff. So you must go down right now. But when you go down right now, you're taking this one, and so you must go to the right again. So like to visualize, you have this situation, okay? And it doesn't matter if I do that this way or if I just go straight. I mean, it's not the problem of the point. The problem here is that I can't continue even if I do that. Continuing is a problem here because here you go up and then okay, you could in theory do that, but remember that you must do that, so somehow you must continue here. So this is just forced and then you can't continue. So there is no way you wiggle too much. So if you are here, you must continue this way. And if you continue this way, you must go here, you must go down. And then when you go down here, you can't go this way because you have nothing to recoil. You can't go here because you have nothing to recoil, so you must go down again. Now you can't go down again, so you must go here, and then it's the same problem again. I'm going around the x, the plus, in the same circular ways. So I can't go here, I touch up, I can't go here because this one is just not forced. I mean, I go here and I go down, and I go here and I go here again. I can't do other stuff. Here I can't continue, so I must go up. And now I have a problem because I can't go up and I can't go here. Why I can't go here? Because this move, that in theory is possible, is broken by this one that is made by this move. So all of these things all together just means that every time I try to make this move going in one direction or in the other one, I create problems. In other words, this is a wall. I'm talking about this wall because this wall is very easy for us to say something. The thing that I want to say is that I can't do that because if I try to do this, clearly I'm creating something that is here. Like, yeah, okay, clearly I must go through here at this point. Okay, I must go through here at this point. But then this means that I must make this move. And then this move creates the same problem down that we already had. Why I'm talking about that? Because now this one forces another move here. So this, I can't do that, so I must somehow wiggle. And even if I try to wiggle this way, I can't just connect, so I can't go down, so I must continue this way. And I create a problem. This is just clearly not working. This is just too many moves that we can't use, okay? So in other words, this one is not allowed. All of these, literally all of these, he's trying to create some kind of implications around how the puzzle must go. And to do that, I must min-max the amount of cells that I must make, that I must use, remembering that the outside is already 31 cells, and I must make 35 cells connecting the outside and doing some stuff with the inside, and that inside must be stuff like this. So I must go here, and then I must go here, and so on. So this is what I have in mind. So I know that I must do that, and then I return down, and then I go up, and then I go up again, and then I finish the clock. Because I don't have other places and other ways to do so without just counting to 66, because this is the maximum amount of cells that I must use, okay? Now, you can think that we are very distant from the solution of this, but we are not, in fact, for some reasons. Now that I know that I can't do this move, I can't make this move as well. Why I say that I can't make this move as well? Because now, clearly, if I try to go this way, let me use still the thing, okay? Now I can't go here, because I can't go down, or here, because this one would trap the other one, okay? So, to do that, I must necessarily, and necessarily, go through the middle one. When I go through the middle, I mean, it doesn't matter if I take other cells, it doesn't really matter. But the point is that now I can't reach this, so I must do that and then do that. When I do this move, though, I have some considerations to make. The first consideration is that if I try to go to the right again, I can't continue to the right because I have nothing to do, so I must go here. This one is forcing some stuff because I can't go here because I have to trap this. So I must go here and then I go down, okay? And then what happens? Then the only way to continue is this one goes here, this way, of course, and then this one goes here again, and then I have nothing to recoil from the above, so all of this just doesn't work. Or I go the other way around, so I go here, and then I go straight down, and then still I go here, and then still I have the same problem up here, so all of this doesn't work, just doesn't work, because the things that I do down can't make enough recoils for this, so I must make this move. This move is just forced. Now that I know that this move is just forced, I'm asking, can I ever go down here? If I go down here, now I must go here to recoil this cell, and then, because I need a place for this to go this way now, I must make 2 moves up. And now, those moves up, well, again, if I go here, I can't recoil here, and if I wiggle here, I still don't see a way to recoil this cell or others. And in any case, this one is just recoiling one of those two, so I don't have enough space to do that as well. So in other words, this one is forced to go up. So all of this is still another point of you can't do other stuff than this. Also, now, what can I ask is... What can I ask is... Wait a second. Am I here? Yes, I think so. Okay, now what can I ask is how many cells can I have outside? Why I'm talking about the outside? Because with the outside, the most I can do here is adding, okay, let me just count the moves that I have here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34 here or here. So we have 34 moves, okay, in total. This means that we need the other 32 moves, okay? Just remember that we have 32 moves yet to do here. Now, those 32 moves, if I try to maximize the outside, I must make 2 moves up here. 1 and 2. Okay? 2 moves here. Then I can maximize making 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 moves. 9, 10, and 11 moves. So, like, this is counting as outside. This is like the most I can do here. And this is 11 of those moves. This move also forces this one that is 12 moves, okay? So with this, we would get to 44 moves in total. Now those 44 moves in total allow us to go to, like, we need 22 moves more. We still need 22 moves here, okay? And the problem is that if I try to count moves here to use all of these and try to go all the way around here, I'm trying to do that as good as I can, okay? Like literally as good as I can, in terms of just using as less space down as I can, because okay, let me try to explain. If I try to go with the bottom right, with the bottom side here, I'm having problems because I can't reach these, okay? So every time I reach these, I must make those moves, and now I can't reach these because this one is just. I mean, I made these moves that go this way, so I have some interactions with this. The fact that if I go up here, now this one can't do that, so I must do this. So I must go this way, and to make this and allow the maximum amount of moves, I must do that. For example, not this. Sorry, I must do this to force the biggest amount of moves here, okay? But even if I try to do that, even if I try to continue this way and again try to, like, I don't know, maximize the right amount of stuff, that's what I'm trying to say, I can do that, for example, and I can do this, but then I can't continue or I can't continue, so I can't do this way, so I must stay in the middle part of that, and so I must make this. And as you can see, even this thing is not enough. It's just not enough, and you still have problems, a lot of problems around that you can't just adjust because you can try to do that, for example, to allow one more move. But every time you do that, as you can see, you are just recoiling too much stuff. So it's always the same problem that every time you make one of those moves, that move just goes after and after and after and after, creating problems, like propagating around the grid. It's exactly the opposite of 46, because in 46 you have those things that don't propagate enough, and here instead it propagates too much. In other words, to just fix all the errors that you have, to do that, in this configuration, you should allow for this option, and you should allow for this option, and you should allow for this option, and then for this option, and yeah, and then for this option, and this is clearly working, but we are with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 moves remaining, and there is no way to add 5 moves here just doing that. It's just not working. It's just not enough. And I mean, you already removed some cells around the outside, okay, as well. So, like, there's no way that you can just say, okay, I will correct that to solve the puzzle. There is just no way. In other words, I'm returning back now, and I'm saying that if I try to use the little part of this, yeah, I can do that, so I must make these, for example. I can even do that to force some stuff, yeah. I can do this, and if I try to do this, still, I have problems, because now this one is not recoiled. So I still have to make other moves here, like, I don't know, like this, and I can't. So at a certain point I must do that, and I must do this, and this one is still not enough to recoil, and so I must do that to add enough stuff, sorry. But then this one doesn't work, and then I must do that, and then I must do that, and then I even have problems here, so I can't do these as well, so I must do that, and I'm creating another problem, and every time I try, I create just problems after problems after problems after problems. So it's just as I said, every time I try to make those moves, I create other situations that doesn't work. All of these means that I can't make those moves, because every time I try, the things that I'm recoiling here or up here are creating problems. In other words, I can't make this, and if I can't make this shape, I can ask, can I make this shape instead? And the answer is, I have the same problem again. Because, yeah, here I can do that, of course, but then I can't make this move. So I must make this move, and I create problems, I don't know, like, I can do that, of course, but I can do that, okay? But okay, I can now, and I don't have enough space to recoil up here, for example. Why? Because I have too many moves here. So it's always the same problem. Like you can't have too many moves in the same direction. In other words, I can't make this because this is just not enough because it's propagating. I must do that. When I do this, though, clearly I'm taking this cell, and now I'm going down, and when I go down, as you can see here, you can't go this way, and you can't go this way. So, like, it's always the same problem. I must go twice down, and then I must start with the thing, because if I don't do that, I recoil stuff that I don't want to recoil. So it's always the same problem again and again and again and again. Also, I can clearly say that now this move, I mean, this one is not, I don't know about this one yet, but what I know now is that if I try to go here and then here and then here, I'll show you, then I have problems because now I must go here, and then I have nothing to recoil for this move. There is just nothing to recoil for this move. So, indeed, I must connect this way, and those are two things that are recoiling here. So from this point, well, again, let me just show. If I try to go down here, I recoil one more, so I can't. I must go here. Now I must go down. I must go here. If I go down, I am blocked. If I go here, I am blocked, so I must continue this way now. And the same problem arises again and again and again and again, because now this one goes just here, this one goes here. And now those two moves recoil like 1 and 2. Here I have two moves that recoil 1 and 2. So now this move recoils down here. This move goes up, and so I have two things to recoil, and this is 1 and 2. Those connect. This 1 and 2, recoiling here. And now that we are here, we still need to recoil this cell that is recoiled by this. And then this move must be recoiled, and it could be recoiled by something horizontal, of course, but yeah. Now I can't go down, I can't continue this way, so I must go up, recoiling this cell, so I must continue this way now. Recoiling this one, so I can't continue here. This one breaks, so I must go up again. Recoiling this cell down. And now, from here I must go to the left here. Recoiling this cell, can't continue. And now, can't go down, I have nothing. Can't go down again, I have nothing. So I must go up. And this means that now I must recoil those two things, and the only way to recoil those two things now... Remember that one of these must be that, so I must recoil just the other one. And if I don't recoil that here, and I try to recoil that here, and I go down this way, I have nothing to recoil this way, so I can't do that. So this one must connect this way, and now I must make this move, and I must make this move as well. And then, oh yeah, those two moves now are recoiling 1 and 2. This move has nothing to recoil, so I must continue this way, and those are two moves, so it's 1 and 2. So this one must finish here and recoil at the right here, of course. This one is recoiled. This one now is recoiled by this move. And this move now goes here and recoils in the only place remaining, so now this one must connect up and recoil down here. And now this move goes up here, so now one of those moves recoils here and the other one recoils upwards. And because I have still two moves going up downwards to recoil, I have just those two spots to use, and so those things connect. And now I have this one to recoil here or here, I don't know. And at this point I must just finish. Again, I can't go to the left because this one traps. I can't go down because this one traps. And if I try to go up, I can't go up again. I can't go left, so I must go here. When I go here, I can't go up. If I go down, I take too many things, and I can't recoil of those. if I continue this way, I recoil this one, and I can't recoil that, so I must continue this way now. When I continue here, now, if I continue here, I recoil the wrong thing, so I must go up, because this one was already recoiled. So I must go this way, I must go this way again, and now the move goes down and recoil this cell. And the puzzle just will complete, because just to be clear, now this move recoils this, and this move recoils this one, and so those two moves will recoil this one, and the puzzle completes. And puzzle 17 is done. I don't know if you're still here. If some of you is still here. But yeah, like what I did was counting a lot. Was counting in terms of, okay, I have 22 more cells to do. Correcting these errors, I still have 61 moves, and that's not enough. If I try to make the thing that is just round and not all the way here, and I try to connect, if I try to connect too much stuff, I don't have enough space, and if I don't try to do that, I'm not counting 22 more recoils moves. And so you can min-max the moves and talk about how many moves you must make in the middle and how many moves you must take with the little cross. And then you understand that you can't mix the things, so you can't just go twice here to go from inside to outside until you exit. You finally exit it. And yeah, and then the puzzle just completes because you do the middle and everything is done. And yeah, that was the puzzle.